hear some more information on José Berríos, and they've needed it. You know, Kevin Gausman didn't have, his greatest outing over the weekend, but Berríos, as we said, 4 straight quality starts to start the year and a scoreless inning streak that has now run to 15 2/3 innings as the Blue Jays beat the Rockies yesterday in Toronto. All right, D-Row.
Got to give him love.
Yeah, we've talked about José Berríos. The stuff has been top-notch and quality for a while now. And we've been wondering, the question has been, okay, when is he going to take that next step? He was excellent in that playoff game, and it got taken out, and that's been definitely litigated and talked about a lot. But what'd you see from
We're going to bring it back.
Oh, okay, good. Definitely. Let's do
Lauren,
that.
why do we love José Berríos?
I'll tell you why. Because he had a clunker, and he came in through the Lincoln Tunnel in the pouring rain
the next
day after his start, and we will forever love him.
He got his brains beat in at Yankee Stadium. I thought he was going to cancel. He was here with a smile on his face.
Smile.
Former shortstop. So we're all in. So I don't normally do pitching breakdowns.
Yes.
So I'm gonna see if there's like a former guy who threw 100 miles an hour, maybe back behind the skybox that come help. Oh, there he is. Old Danny Plesac. Here we go.
We get to talk about this guy.
And I know you talked to Buck
Love
Martinez about him.
Love him.
Come on.
Yeah.
What did Buck have to say?
He says he's the ultimate teammate. You can bank him in. 32 starts a year. He's changed his game. He was a guy that was a 4-seam fastball, overhand curveball, using the sinker, the 2-seamer up and down in the zone. Changed his whole game.
All right, let's get into it. Because I want to tell people, in a game of high-velocity, 4-seam breaking ball, living north-south, okay, I'm going to take you back to 2023, wild card, game 2. This guy is absolutely dominant. Pause this real quick, because I want to set the scene. He's a former first-rounder by Minnesota, and he went back there. So you know there was an axe to grind. He wanted to post, and he was dominant. And he got the moment stolen from him.
It was almost like the Blue Jays were headset. They were set on. They were getting a reliever in that game.
No matter what, he was facing 12 hitters, and he was coming out of that game. All right? Keep running it. So I know he came into this season, and John Schneider, whether it was analytics, whether it was a managerial move, it was the wrong move. And it's been chronicled. But he showed up this spring. Kevin Gausman goes down, little hiccup early, and he gets the opening day start. And I just want to take you, he was dominant again. He didn't have his A-game stuff, I thought, yesterday, but dominant again. We're going to take you through some ABs. Pause it. Bring up his pitch percentage usage. So lock in on the sinker slurve versus the 4-seam change, okay? From 2019 to 2022, he was about a 56 to 43, okay? Take a look on Sunday. He has gone heavy sinker slurve, and he has gone away from the 4-seamer change. Even to left-handed hitters, we're going to bring up a McMahon at bat here in a second. So what does that do? In a game of high velocity, north-south, right? The plate is 17 inches. I talk about this all the time, and Danny, you can jump in. 17 inches. If that's all I had to cover, north-south, I feel like you could shoot it out of a gun, and eventually we'll get to it. I know the elevated heaters worked in today's game of guys wanting to dip and drive. But there is a place, and I think it's coming back for a lot of guys, where expanding the plate and giving that visual of turning 17 inches into 20, 22 inches with a sinker slider is just as nasty, and he's proven it.
I think the game's best pitchers, when DeGrom is healthy, when Cole is healthy, those two guys, they can ride the 4-seamer up, the 2-seamer down. But what Berrios has done, he'll use that 2-seamer up. It's not Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux perfected that pitch where he could start it at a left-hander's hip and bring it back out. Also, he would start the ball 4 or 5 inches off to a righty. You give up on that thing, and he brought it back over the plate.
Yep.
That's what he's doing. But he's doing it with the 2-seamer. Normally, you would think that's a pitch that you want to use down in the zone. He'll run the 2-seamer up and away to righties and lefties.
All right, bring up 2 ABs for me. Ryan McMahon, gotten off to a nice start with the Rockies. And just take you through how a sinker-slider combo, he's going 2-seamer away right there, then a nasty slurve. Then he hangs a slurve in the middle of the plate, and now he sets up, watch, he turns this plate from 17 inches into 24. So Ryan McMahon gives up on this paralyzer. He thinks that ball, run that back for me real quick. And the only kind of example pause it I can give you is when I faced Mariano Rivera for the first time in Yankee Stadium and he threw the cutter, I literally was like, oh my God, that's gonna hollow out my ribs. And it was a strike. So if you watch Ryan McMahon, he actually is like, man, this ball might clip me. Run it. He's like, ugh. Strike three. Now you're like, oh God, where am I supposed to go? And that's, Dan, pause this and bring up the board against left-handers. Because normally you'd ride the four-seamer, right? You don't want the two-seamer sinking into a lefty's barrel from a right-hander. It's an easier pitch for a lefty to handle, but he's gone back to it. Sinker slurve usage versus left-handed hitters, 72, 73% when it was 45.
What also helps him is he changes speeds on that breaking ball, right? So he has that slurve that McMahon has to worry about that ball that comes down and in on him, right? So you're like, okay, all of a sudden then he starts that two-seamer. You can't recognize it till too late. You think, oh, that's going to be that cutter in on me, right? And all of a sudden, boom, he brings it back over the
All right, bring me up a right-hander, AB. Brenton Doyle, right here. You're going to get slurve, 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 slurve.
But see, that's 81. But he changes speeds with that slurve. There's 79. He adds and subtracts off of it.
Keep throwing it. 80. Stay with it. Why would you deviate? 4 in a row, 2-2. So you're sitting slurve, right? Here he goes. This doesn't even have to be a good two-seamer. He's got him so focused on the outer half of the plate. See you later.
Boom. 93 with sink.
This was my nightmare two-seamer because of this. That stupid ground out to third base every time, because if I'm hitting off a four-seam fastball, Dan, and it's on plane, I know if I take my hands to it, the barrel's replacing it and I'm on time. And I'm gonna square it up. When I face that two-seamer and it's moving and my hands, and I get jammed and ground out to third, I literally wanted to run down to first base and just clock the first base.
What he's doing now isn't easy to do. That's like when you've been around for a little bit of while, you start experimenting, changing breaking ball speed, moving the two-seamer in and out. You're not afraid to throw it to a lefty and to say, hey, I'm going to ride that same one in on a right-hander, and I'm going to jam him with it. You can't be afraid to do it, and that's where he's at now.
And in a game right now, and I get it, it stinks for the game. A lot of starters are going down, big stars.
This guy, 32 starts a year, pencil him in.
He goes to the post. Now, is that genetics? I don't know. Is that... I think it's a lot.
I think it's
But that's why Kyle Gibson keeps getting deals.
You're right.
Dan,
that man goes to the post.
Mechanics or what?
It's mechanics, understanding your body, understanding what to do between starts, not to overthrow,
Some
not
luck
to over.
in there.
Absolutely, and it is. And you've seen guys, you see guys with great mechanics. You look at a guy like Jacob deGrom, right? You watch him throw. It is the most effortless 98 to 101. How does this guy ever get hurt? Maybe there's just too much strength or too much arm action in that body for him to be able to do this. But this guy posts up every 5
Every
days.
time. We love him.